Hello everyone, Social Coach Michael Knight here, and today I'm going to be talking about that so famous advice of just be yourself. You know what? If you just be yourself, the right person will come along. Just be yourself and they'll like you for you. And I'm going to talk about why this can be both good advice and terrible advice at the same time. And the paradox is, I think, perfectly captured by a joke by comedian Mark Norman. And in the joke he's saying, well, women are always telling me, Mark, just be yourself. But they're also telling me, Mark, you got to be confident. He's like, well, pick one, because I can't be both. But before I get into it, please remember to like and subscribe, since that would be doing me a huge favor when it comes to helping me build this channel and reach and help more people. And also thanks to all of you who have become Patreon subscribers, you're really helping support my work. So when is just be yourself good advice? Well, it's good advice when it prevents you from putting on some type of act, some type of front, because you don't think you're good enough just the way you are. And people can detect this. And when they detect this, it makes them a little uneasy. They feel like, oh, you're trying to cover something up, but I'm not sure quite what it is, or you're trying to manipulate them in some way. And this makes them uncomfortable and is gonna not lead to you building a good connection. From the other person's perspective, they're like, well, I just met this guy, so I can't really judge yet how cool of a person he is, but what I can do is observe how he acts and see what he thinks of himself. And if what the other person perceives is a guy that's nervous, fidgety, like he's trying to cover something up, acting like someone he's not, they go, oh, okay, this guy doesn't really seem comfortable with himself. He doesn't seem that confident. And what I know is that this guy knows himself better than I know him. So I'll just, by default, adopt the low opinion that he already holds of himself, and I'll also carry that opinion of him. The great irony being that when this other person just met you, they likely had a neutral opinion of you. And it was only through you acting incongruently and trying to make them like you did they then form a negative opinion. By actively trying to create in their mind a positive opinion of you, you only made yourself look worse. This is because people highly value authenticity. And you were coming off as not being congruent and thus being unauthentic. Congruent being defined as your thoughts, words, and actions all being aligned. That is, your thoughts and words match up. You say what you think. For example, you meet a new person and in your mind you're thinking, oh my God, I can't believe this person is even talking to me. But then you try to play it cool, right? Then your words are saying things like, oh yeah, I come here often. I'm actually surprised we don't met. I'm quite popular here. You know, there's an incongruence between what you're thinking and what you're saying, and this is often detectable. Another example of not appearing congruent is that maybe your body language seems like very closed and nervous, but you're trying to speak and talk tough. You're like, oh, well, I don't care what you think, and then you kind of run away. Obviously, what you're saying didn't match your body language. And again, you're coming off as not being authentic. Another super common example is when a person gets stuck in their head and they're worried what they have to say might not be good enough, or the other person might not like it or find it funny, and they put up this filter barrier in front of them. And this filter barrier prevents them from expressing themselves honestly and thus being able to form a connection with the other person. So, to recap, the positive, attractive benefit of just be yourself is to appear congruent and authentic. This can be achieved by remaining present in the current moment within one's mind, by communicating honestly, and by not heavily craving one specific desired outcome from an interaction. The heavily desired outcome of wanting to seem cool or for other people to like you, this is what causes you to put on an act. And the putting on of an act makes you seem less authentic, which in turn makes you look less attractive in the eyes of others. Now let's discuss the other side of just be yourself, when it's bad advice and when it's not going to work. If you are truly a super unconfident, needy, validation-seeking person, then expressing these unattractive traits, even if you do so authentically, is not going to be to your benefit. So in this case, you should work on improving and becoming the best version of yourself. Often, it's not so much the things that you do, but the things that you specifically do not do that make the difference. For example, there's a handful of social behaviors that if you simply just quit doing them, you would instantly become more attractive in the eyes of other people. These are all covered in depth in my book, which you can find linked to in the description below if you're interested. So, when it comes to being yourself, You should be expressing yourself openly and honestly and without filters so that the other person gets to know the real you. But simultaneously, you should still work to correct any unattractive behaviors that you might have so that you can become the best version of yourself. And if you would like some help doing this, I provide one-on-one coaching, and an application to this can be found linked to in the description below. That's all for today. Until next time, ciao.